What's going on, everyone? Happy Sunday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Sunday edition of the Pandemic Update for Sunday, February 18th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, this is where we do the daily pandemic update on all things COVID and other viruses that could be a threat to you. If you want to keep yourself protected, informed, and help keep others informed, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and then at the end of watching this video, share this with anyone you know who needs a wake-up call or reminder that COVID is still in existence and there are a lot of viruses that are out there and a threat to you. We're going to talk about several of those viruses today, and of course, being it's a Sunday, we're going to take a look at a lot of wastewater sites today. But first, we do have some news stories about some of the other viruses. First off, in Grand Forks, North Dakota, hepatitis A has been identified. A confirmed case of hepatitis A in a Grand Forks good worker has prompted North Dakota Health and Humane Services to issue an advisory. HHS has determined that people who ate at University of North Dakota Memorial Union Chick-fil-A on the following dates and times may have been exposed to hepatitis A. If you want to read all these dates and times, if this is an area you are, you can check this out on my Twitter page, as I have tweeted this out. It is at COVID Data Report. You can see here, there's a lot of different dates and times, and some of the things that you should be mindful of, though, that it can take up to 15 to 50 days from exposure to potentially getting a case here, as it says. All this information's in the article. I will tweet this out down below. Then, we have to take a look at this. Toronto Public Health confirms case of measles in an infant, and this person was hospitalized. We've been seeing cases of measles pop up, not just in North America, in the United States or Canada, but all around the world. So it is something that's concerning as we see more and more cases popping up. Then now we have to move on to this. Yet another virus. One dog positive, 11 pending tests for canine influenza. Yes, we talk about flu, but not often we talk about canine influenza, and it's becoming a thing, and I believe this is in Las Vegas. A dog at a Las Vegas shelter has tested positive for canine influenza as the shelter tries to get as many dogs out of the shelter as possible. You might be wondering, well, why is that happening? There's a problem. The shelter's dealing with overcrowding, so that's why they're trying to cut down the number of animals that they have at this time, because the shelter is really crowded. But also, when you have that many animals bunched together, it's like the same thing with birds. I talk about this with birds outside. When you're feeding birds and you're putting out like bird seed and not something that you would hang like suet or something, when you're feeding a bunch of birds and they're all crowded together at once, it's a potential spreader for disease. Well, at this place, let's just read on real quickly. The Animal Foundation said while one dog has tested positive, there are 11 more dogs with symptoms that are pending test results. The news comes after the shelter said they were at critical space crisis after taking in nearly 1,000 animals. Get my point here? Large congregation, close together, overcrowding, potential mass spreader for disease, and well, that's happening with the dogs here. All right, moving on. Let's switch gears to COVID. Yet again, another study about diabetes in COVID. COVID could increase risk of developing diabetes by up to 22%. Canadian study shows. Haven't put this on my website yet. I will put it on the website either some point today or some point during the week. I'm leaning towards we're going to start a section in the studies section for just COVID and diabetes. Yeah, I'm serious. I don't think we have one yet, but it may be needed because there's a lot of diabetic studies coming out about how COVID can increase the risk, or if you have it, it can make it worse. Trust me, you don't want to deal with diabetes. It runs in my dad's side of the family, and one of his sisters died from it several years ago. It's a horrible, horrible death. You do not want to deal with it. All right, let's take a look at today's air quality values and see what's going on around the United States as we refresh this. Let's see what we find today. I suspect that, yeah, exactly what I thought. Not that bad. But I was expecting to see Florida still be a little bad, but I guess the rain that they're having is clearing out the atmosphere. We do take a look at the Northeast here. Yeah, there's some yellows here, but I'm not terribly concerned at this time. Quite frankly, it's a good day across the United States. Let's take it for as it is. Do have to concern you with this, though. From about Central California on northward, yes, you do have some bad sites there. Yes, there's a couple bad sites in Louisiana, but for the most part, it's not a bad day across the United States. If you want to learn more about climate, weather, anything in that retrospect, I do have another channel where I do just that. It's at Climate Data Report. I just did a video there within the last hour. And look at the thumbnail. It says, Bye Bye Winter. Yeah, for many, winter is going to be going on a vacation. Okay, it may feel like winter again in the Northeast, but for the most part, it's going to be short-lived. Warmer weather is coming. So if you don't like winter, warmer weather's coming, want to learn more about it? There'll be a link for my other channel down below. All right, yesterday, Philadelphia had 730 EMS incidents. That's lower than the previous day's report. Let's do a live looking at what's going on in Montgomery County. Oh my. Wow, okay. So before coming on here, there was a whole list of strokes. There were 3 strokes at once and a cardiac arrest call. So that has since changed, and there are now 17 total calls. Here's why I just said, oh my. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 respiratory emergency calls right now on a Sunday. That's really bad news. 1, post-COVID, we know people deal with shortness of breath issues. There's a lot of people that, not everybody, but there's a lot of people that do. And 2, could respiratory illness be going up again? I don't know, but that is really concerning to see this many calls at 4:30 on a Sunday afternoon in Montgomery County, which is just outside of Philadelphia. Let's try for Chester County now. Wow, respiratory difficulty again. Respiratory difficulty. So Chester County's having a lot of calls too. Stroke, heart problems, diabetic emergency. Hey, remember, we just mentioned COVID. It's increasing the risk of diabetes, but diabetes has been a big problem in the United States prior to COVID. It's just only getting worse now because of COVID. So yeah, Philadelphia burbs really busy right now. I'm concerned about that, especially yeah. Look at all these respiratory emergency calls. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that throughout the evening. If something gets rather alarming, of course I'll tweet about it. All right, it's Sunday. We talk about wastewater. We're not going to go to any other state or anything. It's Sunday. There's nothing. They don't update on Sundays. I'm not even showing you. I haven't even refreshed New Jersey, but as of lately, New Jersey on Sundays, yeah, the vast majority of the hospitals don't even report. So let's take a look at the national wastewater. It went up again slightly this week. Not by a lot, but it did go up slightly. And it's something that doesn't usually happen in February at this time of year, at least not since the pandemic has started. The majority of the regions, yeah, they're flat, but look at this. The West Coast, it's going up ever so slightly. This is BioBot Analytics, in case you're wondering. This is for COVID. And taking a look here to South, it's flat. The Midwest, ever so slightly went up. So now let's continue on here. We'll go to the CDC page. We have several different colored categories here. One that's not listed, that's gray sites. Gray sites have not updated. White, they're the new ones. There's 29 of them. 0 to 19%. This is this dark shade of blue. They are sites with very low levels of COVID. 46 of them. But I do have a problem with that. Yes, it's 46, but look here. That number actually went down 2%. Again, something that would not normally happen in February. The next shade up, slightly lighter shade of blue, 20 to 39%, that went up by 4%. That's okay. We want that to go up. It's 162. The number we really want to go up is this dark shade of blue. Then the really light shade of blue, that remained flat on a percentage basis. 358 sites. And then you see this orange here. That's getting pretty high with COVID. There's quite a few of them still. 60 to 79% COVID detected. 407 sites there. It's down by 8%, but we need to see that come way down. And 80 to 100% COVID detected. That's red. That's the worst number. Still 177 sites like that, and that is down by 13%. You can see the vast majority of the reds and the oranges, they're on the East Coast. There is still quite a bit of orange, though, in California. Of course, Utah is still seeing a bunch of orange. It just seems here, when you get into this corridor of wastewater sites, they all seem to follow each other. If one starts going up, they all start going up. Like, for example, at one point, most of them were red. Then most of them went orange. And now this week there's a lot of lighter blue. I suspect next week the majority of them will likely change, or hopefully change, to lighter blue. But we also see when we go down to, hang on here, we go down to Texas. I want to show you this. There we go. I want to show you what's going on in the Houston area. And you see here, there's a lot of red and orange. Let's actually take a look at that. Here it is, right here. Look at this. You can see here, wastewater levels. They're still at concerning levels here. And these dashes that you're seeing, I believe that indicates wastewater is flat. We're not seeing many of these red and white arrows. That would be indicating that wastewater is going up. There's just a few areas in Houston. Thank goodness, because for much of January, it was still rising. And we're also not seeing much dropping as well. So that's telling me that you had the rise in January, but now it's not dropping. It's holding at high levels. Hopefully next week we see some more of this green pop up, which would indicate levels starting to drop. All right, let's go over to wastewater scan now. Let's take a tour of the country. We're not going to do every state. Remember, as of lately, we've been including more wastewater sites and more states in the daily pandemic update throughout the week. Not every day, but on days where it's a slower news day, we've been doing that. So we're not going to go to every state today. We'll maybe do about 10 wastewater sites or something like that, maybe between 10 and 12. I say let's start in the Northeast, and we'll work our way off to the west. We'll do a couple in each state. And how about today we come up to Concord, New Hampshire? We have not checked this in a while. What's going on there? Concord, New Hampshire, high for COVID but dropping. High for RSV but, rapidly rising again. Influenza A, rapidly rising and high. Influenza B is low but rapidly rising. HMPV is rising at this time. Norovirus, it had a big drop. Now it's starting to rapidly rise again. Wow, a lot of concerning things at this wastewater site. Mpox and hepatitis A, thank goodness, are not an issue at this time. Let's take a look at Boston. This is a huge wastewater site. This is one of the biggest wastewater sites that we look at. And in Boston, we see something I don't like to see. They changed the chart here to this really, where it's really low and spread. I don't know why they keep doing that, but COVID's still high, stable at this time. RSV is high, stable. Both are just dropping ever so slightly. Influenza A is high, but dropping slightly. Influenza B is high, but it's dropping pretty good now. HMPV is high. Norovirus is high, but yikes, norovirus is starting to rise again. Hepatitis A, there were some detections earlier in the month, actually just recently, and no Mpox again. This is one of the biggest wastewater sites we look at. 2.4 million population. And we do want to take a look at another populated area. Let's go up here to Passaic Valley Sewage. This is Newark, New Jersey. This is up in North Jersey. High levels of COVID. You can see here, it's level at this time. High levels of RSV dropping ever so slightly. Influenza A is high. Influenza B is high, and that continues to rise. And look at this. For the most part, other than a little pause to start off the year, February has been going up again for influenza B. HMPV, not much of an issue. It says high, but it's really not that high right now. Norovirus, look at this. Recent update. Maybe trying to rise again. Some hepatitis detected, and no Mpox at this time. All right, let's go down to the southern U.S. Then we'll make our way to the west. And down in the southern U.S., we do want to take a look at Atlanta, Georgia area. How about we go a little bit north today? What is this? Johns Creek. This is the Roswell area. Let's see what's going on there today. Roswell is high for COVID, but dropping slightly. RSV is high, rising ever so slightly. Influenza A is high but dropping. Influenza B is high but rising at this time. HMPV, not much of an issue. Norovirus is high and rising. And hepatitis A, yep, there have been some detections of that we should be concerned about. And no Mpox detections at this time. All right, let's go a little bit to the west now. How about we go to Mississippi? Yes, let's go right down to the Gulf Coast. Let's see what's going on. How about right here? Let's see, right along the Gulf Coast. I want to know what's going on here. You see, look at this. Dropping at this time for COVID. High and dropping. RSV, high. Not really much of an issue, though. Taking a look at influenza A, that's dropping. Influenza B, wow, rapidly dropping. So if you live along the Mississippi Gulf Coast, not too bad at this time. Norovirus, slightly rising. Mpox, no issues at the time. However, there is some detections of hepatitis A. All right, let's do one stop in, where should we stop next? Actually, let's go down here to New Orleans, because you just had Mardi Gras. I want to know what's going on there. Look at this. COVID dropping. Now, I don't know if this is the wastewater site where actually Mardi Gras happens. There's two wastewater sites there. COVID dropping, high. RSV is high but dropping. Look at this. High for influenza A, B, and norovirus, but all dropping at this time. That is fantastic news. However, I reckon if we go to the other wastewater site, let's see what's going on. Curious. Haha! This one's slightly rising for COVID. RSV, not much of an issue. Influenza A, high but dropping. Dropping for influenza B. Noroviruses. Wow. Rapidly rising for norovirus. Hepatitis A, some detection. And no issues with Mpox at this time. Alright, we have to make our way to the north. We have to go up to the north now. Let's go up to... How about we come near Detroit? Warren, Michigan. Let's see what's going on there. And in Warren, Michigan, kind of incomplete data, but COVID is high but dropping, RSV is high and dropping, influenza A is dropping slightly, influenza B rising slightly. Whoa, what's going on here with norovirus? Look at this. Norovirus in Warren, Michigan is rapidly rising at this time. I mean, skyrocketing. We saw this happen in Arkansas. Very similar type scenario happened there. Yeah, this is relatively concerning. Hepatitis A, there is some detections and no detections of Mpox at this time. Wow, that's really concerning for norovirus, don't you think? Chicago, take a look at Chicago during the daily pandemic update. We will look at the CDC data there. So if you live in Chicago, I will either get to you tomorrow or on Tuesday. I'm going to make a note of that. All right, let's take a look in Iowa. Apologies if I say this wrong. Iowa. Correct me down below. You always do. But I hope I said that correctly. High COVID levels, but look at this. Again, they're doing this thing with the chart here where the chart it's just zoomed out too far, if you ask me. But it's saying high, but that doesn't look all that high to me, and it's not rising. RSV is rising slightly for you. Influenza A is dropping. Still high, though. Influenza B, at this time, it's low, but it's starting to rise. And slight rise with norovirus. Hepatitis A is being detected, and no issues with Mpox. Alright, let's make our way out to the west. I say we should make a stop along the way. Don't you think? I think we should make a stop in Kansas City. Let's see what's going on here. In Kansas City, Kansas, I'm curious to see, because you just had a party, and look at this. Wow, they have their charts really zoomed out here. Low for COVID, RSV, medium, influenza A is high, influenza B is high. Not much of an issue with norovirus, it is medium though. And not much in the issue with HMPV, hepatitis A is high at this time. Alright, we have to go out to Las Vegas. It's been exactly 1 week since the Super Bowl. I want to know what's going on there. Let's see. Let's take a look at Las Vegas. In Las Vegas today, we see that they have the chart zoomed out. But, look at this, COVID. It's not rising at this time. You can see it is just medium, ever so slight rise. RSV, high levels, slightly rising at this time. Influenza A, high, but not doing all that bad. Influenza B, again, it's just rising ever so slightly. So this really is some good news. You had the Super Bowl, and levels are not rising much. Fantastic. We'll check it again next week, though. We'll see if that actually changes. All right, let's do one site in California, and then we'll go a little bit further north, and we'll call it a day for this pandemic update. Let's see what's going on over in Silicon Valley in Redwood City, California. You can see here, COVID is low. RSV is medium at this time. Influenza A is high. Influenza B is high. A little bit more activity showing up. HMPV is low. Norovirus is medium. You can see here, hepatitis A. Plenty of detection of that, and not much in the way of Mpox detection at this time. And now let's just go north, and we will call it a day. Let's see what's going on. How about we come up to Salt Lake City, Utah? Let's just go there and see what's going on. So we see at this time that COVID is medium, RSV is high, rising ever so slightly. Taking a look at influenza A is dropping, influenza B is slightly rising. HMPV, not much of an issue. Norovirus is medium at this time. I mean, it does say high for HMPV, but look at this. It's down near zero. I don't know why that classifies as high. Taking a look here at hepatitis A, tons of detection of that. No Mpox detections. And I think we have gone an entire video today without seeing any detections of Mpox. Alrighty, folks, if I didn't get to your area, I'll be doing wastewater sites during the pandemic update during the week. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. If you want to support my channel, there's ways you can do that down below. If you want to share this with anyone, by all means do so. The more people that see these videos, the better. We need to inform people of what is going on. If you want to see any of the studies that I mentioned in these videos, I try to post them to my website. That's datareport.info. And of course, if you want to follow what I'm doing when I'm not on here or want to be informed, it's at COVID Data Report on Twitter, and I'm also on Blue Sky and Counter Social. I know a lot of people don't use Counter Social, but I do post there as well. It's mainly the daily updates that I do here on YouTube. Alrighty, guys, I will see you all again tomorrow. Until I see you again tomorrow, stay safe, everyone, and have a fantastic Sunday afternoon. Thanks for watching.